Detective, if you raise your right hand, you swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state your name, spell it for the court reporter.
Yes, ma'am. Name is Detective Mustafa, ma'am. Last name spells us Mary, Uncle Sam, Tom, Adam, Paul, Henry, Adam.
All right, stand by to get out here. All right, we got position 523 CP 218067 Andrew Lovett, 91 days without indictment, got aggravated assault, cruelty to children in the third, received possession, transport of a firearm by a convicted felon, first offender, and theft by receiving stolen property. Go ahead.
Yes. Can you tell us where you work?
I work with City of Atlanta, assigned to major crimes, aggravated assault unit.
What's your position there?
I'm a detective, ma'am.
How long have you been employed with the city of Atlanta?
It's going to 15 years, ma'am.
And what about in law enforcement? How many years do you have?
Law enforcement, 15 years, but as a detective, ma'am, is going to 3 to 4 years.
Okay. Are you post certified?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you familiar with the case that brings you in today?
Yes, ma'am.
You took out 4 warrants against Mr. Lovett. We're going to start with the aggravated assault. Can you explain why did you take out the warrant for aggravated assault against Mr. Lovett?
Reason why, and I took out charges against Mr. Lovett for the charge of aggravated assault. I received the case. It was an aggravated assault incident. I reviewed the case and I made contact with the victim / reporting party, Mrs. Brianna. And she told me at the time that they were outside this complex. They were outside. They went over there so our sister can get a sister or one of family member can get her hair braided. And while they were standing outside the location, an unknown dog, a stray dog that was out there, started to approach him in an aggressive manner. I said at some point in the time, the dog approached her brother, who's going to be the victim, Mr. Jaden, and the dog jumped on the brother and was almost about to bite him. At some point, she retrieved a weapon and shot the dog. And she said after they did shot the dog, somebody must have went and notified the owner of the dog, who's the accused, and the accused came by, pulled out a firearm and pointed at them. And that's when later on she said, when the accused knew the police were coming, he left the location. And that's when she called us and notified that she wanted to file a police report.
Okay. Who is the second victim?
The second victim, that's her brother. That's Miss Brianna's brother.
How old is he?
I think if I know juvenile, he's about 14 to 15 years of age.
Okay. Okay, you took out a warrant, I'm sorry, for cruelty to children in third degree. What was the probable cause for that warrant?
The probable cause, that's for the pulling out a firearm and pointing in front of a minor. And a statement was also provided by the juvenile, the victim, when they came to do a full lineup. We also obtained a statement from him.
Okay, to clarify, who is the minor that's listed in the warrant? What is his name?
The minor name would be the brother of Mrs. Brianna, Miss Brianna Middlebrooks.
Right. Did you say that he was under the age of 18?
Yes, ma'am.
You also took out a warrant for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon or felony first offender, why did you take out that warrant?
The one was taken out also, ma'am, the accused, Mr. Lovett is a convicted felon, ma'am.
Okay. Did you, how do you know he's convicted felon?
For me to verify that, man, I have to pull out his criminal history. Then on there, you can tell if he's a convicted felon, ma'am.
Did you verify that he was a convicted felon?
Yes, ma'am. You have to look at his criminal history and verify that. Even before the judge sign it, you have to verify that.
Yes, okay. And what evidence do you have to I guess justify that he was in possession of a firearm?
Just for the fact that he had a firearm in his hand and victims they claim. Then also, if I'm not mistaken, man, when he was detained, when he was finally arrested by fugitive, I believe a firearm was found in his possession also.
Okay. And you also took out a warrant for death by receiving stolen property?
Now, that charges, I didn't take those out. I think the fugitive unit took that when he was arrested.
Okay, and I'm sorry. What can you tell us about from your investigation about the death by receiving stolen property?
On that one, ma'am, I believe that the fugitive unit, the detective that actually make the arrest on him the time when he was arrested, they had to verify that. If I'm not mistaken, from the body cam or from their notes, I think the gun was stolen. It was a stolen recovered handgun that was found in his possession.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
What all evidence, did you have a body cam on when you interviewed the victims?
Yes, ma'am. When they came up, actually, they were interviewed at headquarters. So that's how they were on the body cam for both victims, both Ms. Brianna and Mr. Hines.
Have all the evidence you have been stored into evidence?
Based on the evidence that was recovered from fugitive, I believe they stored those items in evidence.
Okay. Is there any additional information you would like the court to know regarding these 4 charges?
Other than the 2 charges, I believe the other 2 charges were added by fugitive unit, ma'am.
Mhm.
But that was as a matter of fact, I reviewed that on the body cam. That's how I came to realize of those additional 2 charges that was placed on Mr. Lovett.
Mhm. Are you able to identify Mr. Lovett?
Yes, ma'am.
You can stand up if you like.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us where he's sitting in relation to you and describe his physical and facial features?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Lovett is sitting in front of me to the left of his counsel. Mr. Lovett does have on an orange jumpsuit and a white V-neck underneath. He's bald head, man, brown skin.
I'm sorry, you can sit down.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I'd like the record to reflect the identity has been established.
Okay, so noted.
In which city did this incident take place in?
It happened inside the city of Atlanta, man.
Which county is that?
That would be Fulton County.
Your Honor, I also like the record to reflect the venue has been established.
Noted.
Court's indulgence, please.
Mhm.
Okay. Nothing further from the state, Judge.
All right, go ahead, Cross.
Were you the officer who responded to the scene about a dog, correct?
No, I wasn't the officer, sir.
No, it was not you. Which officer was it?
That will be Officer Winder. Officer Winder was the primary officer. They did this, responded to the scene and did this police report.
Okay. So which scene did you respond to?
I'm the detective, sir. I reviewed the case.
You reviewed the case.
Yes, sir.
All right. Were there any injuries to the children?
Not that was mentioned of, sir. The officer did took body cam pictures of the victim.
Okay. Who gave the 911 call?
At this top of my head, I cannot recall, but I'm assuming the Mrs. Brianna, if I'm not mistaken, made that call.
How long before the police arrived?
I am not certain, so I'm not sure about how long it took before they arrived.
Ms. Middlebrooks had a gun, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then Mr. Lovett arrived on the scene after the dog shot. Or, I'm sorry. Did Ms. Middlebrooks have a gun when a person came up and pointed a gun at her?
I am not sure if the gun was still in her position, but I'm sure after she shot the dog, a short while later, that's when Mr. Lovett arrives.
Okay. When did you receive the case?
Normally we receive it when the incident, I believe the incident happened on the 6th of July, July. I probably received the case maybe about 6 days later on, because I reviewed the case on the, I believe it was a case on the, sometime in, I believe in a week from then.
All right. And there's body cam footage for the initial police response?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Mr. Lovett was not there, right? Correct?
No, sir, he was not on the scene.
Okay. Was there any other gun at the scene other than Ms. Middlebrooks?
No other gun was on scene at that time.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Anything else from the state?
Just two questions.
Okay.
Did you learn it from your investigation? Did you learn at any point if Ms. Middlebrooks was the first aggressor against Mr. Mosley?
Not that I'm aware of, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Did you from your investigation, did you feel that warrants needed to be taken out against Mr. Miss Middlebrooks for anything in crime?
No, ma'am.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, any follow-up? All right, thank you, detectives.
Thank
Stay
you,
safe.
Thank you, George. Thank you.
All right, go ahead with the argument.
Your Honor, the state has provided testimony from Detective Mufasa. And from his testimony, the state feels that there is enough probable cause to for the aggravated assault or cruelty to children third degree, receipt, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and theft by receiving stolen property. As far as the aggravated assault, we learned from the detective that there were two victims involved and that the defendant Mosley approached the victims with a firearm and pointed it at them for what I believe had happened. Something had happened to his dog. And so he was angry, and there can be inferred that he was angry and wanted to confront Miss Middlebrooks and her brother about what happened to his dog. We learned from the detective's testimony that the juvenile involved was under the age of 18, which is enough probable cause to substantiate the cruelty to children, being that a gun was pointed at this juvenile and Mr. Mosley was the person who pointed the gun at him. We also learned from the detective, just based off his investigation, that he later found out that the defendant is a convicted felon. And also from his investigation, he learned that the particular gun that was in his possession had been reported as stolen. So just based off the detective's testimony, we believe that the state has made its burden for probable cause for all four charges.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Walter.
Your Honor, we don't have evidence of Mr. Lovett pointing a gun at anybody. We have, he was not at the scene. There was no police testimony regarding seeing it. There's no video footage. There's no shell casings of this happening. And it sounds highly unlikely. The only gun was with Miss Middlebrooks, and if two people are pointing guns at each other, one might go off. It doesn't sound like a realistic charge. We also don't have any injuries reported to the children either, and so more the narrative is that for whatever reason the dog got shot. Mr. Lovett shows up. He's angry about because it's his dog, and then he goes off and leaves. There's nothing to show anything further than that, other than some words. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, I'll find probable cause on all four counts. We'll go ahead and address bond. Wow.
Thank you for coming.
Love it. 6 prior arrests, took a first offenders on probation, 7/8/20, aggravated assault with deadly weapon, 4 counts, firearm during 4 counts, 20 SC 175, 107, 6 months confinement, 4 years, 6 months probation, nothing further.
All right, go ahead.
Your Honor, currently Mr. Lovett is on a no bond status and, excuse me. We would like to offer him bond to give him a chance at life and to bring more evidence to better fight the case for himself, but also just to be back with friends and family on the outside. He has a criminal record, but he's not one of those types that's in and out of jail every week. And so we're asking for one of his last arrests was a couple years ago, and he has a 5-year-old son. He was trying to save up for a GED, and he was working as well, making himself productive in society, working different jobs. So we're asking for a reasonable bond, something a bit lower, Your Honor.
All right. What says the state?
Your Honor, the state is going to ask for a high bond if the court is inclined to set a bond today. The defendant did, just based off the testimony that we heard today, aim a firearm at a child. Aside from that, the defendant was in possession of a firearm, and he's a convicted felon. We feel that he is a danger to the community. This incident did take place outside in front of several people. Your Honor, also he was on probation when this incident took place. So we feel that he's likely to reoffend. And so for those reasons, we're going to ask for a high bond. If the court is inclined to set a bond, we ask for a bond no less than $70,000 on all the charges.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 532 Cleveland Avenue Southwest. No further contact with Brianna Middlebrooks, Breunna Middlebrooks, Middlebrooks. You have ankle monitor paid for by the county with that 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, exact location you'll be working. Got 10,000, 5,000, 5,000, and 3,000. 10, 5, 5, and 3. Best of luck to you, sir.